camera filter.
Good morning, welcome to Morning Prayer with Alison, with Malcolm, with Michael. We're not taking
With a bunch of keys.
Jingle! Bunch of keys.
Excellent. Very good.
Yes.
Wow, well, it's a lot of revelation stuff going on.
We've
Even
just been
Daniel.
saying, yeah, it's like really hard, isn't it? Both sets have got these incredible sort of weird and wonderful dreams and revelations.
You make a really good point. It's like Daniel is like normally like a sort of really easy, full of nice stories, lions and three guys.
Yeah, in the bungalow.
In the bungalow.
Not in
With
the
your
bungalow,
great
but-
name, was it my shack, your shack, and a bungalow?
And a bungalow. Shadrach, Meshach.
But suddenly all these revelations, I mean, it's like, for me it's almost like reading coded gobbledygook, and I find it very hard to...
You're right, I mean, it is coded language.
Right.
But I was thinking though, with Daniel, this time, he gets this understanding of the vision. Gabriel helped this man understand the vision, it says, doesn't it? So he tells him what all of these different horns and these animals and the ram and the sheep and things, what they mean, don't they?
And it's sort of leading up to this person, possibly in history, this person was Antiochus Epiphanes, who appeared, I think, about, I can't remember when, about 100 or 200 years before Jesus, and when the temple was, he sort of came and trampled, destroyed the temple and sacked the temple, and then, but also, it's also sort of looking forward as well to the sort of the second sacking of the temple after the death of Jesus and the complete destruction of the temple.
Right.
And
So it's
sort of,
quite
that's
a
a picture.
historical fact
That,
then.
yeah, there is historical
Yeah.
fact, but it's also a historical fact that is also pointing us to the future.
Right.
You know, what has been is what will
That's
be,
the-
and what is
yeah.
and what will be, sort of thing.
So is there another, does that mean we're waiting for another destruction of the temple? Wasn't Jesus also, when it's crucifixion of Jesus, kind of a destruction?
Ah, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant,
Well,
brilliant.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He is the sort of ultimate temple
Right.
and the destruction of the temple. And maybe we might see that a little bit more in the next reading as well.
Right.
So,
Let's go on to the next reading then, shall we?
Right.
unless you've got other.
Yeah, it is amazing. I'm trying to think actually, because I'm getting kind of confused. The bit I want to talk about actually is
Yeah.
that I think I read rather than you.
Yes, the
It's
Revelation bit,
which,
yes.
which monster, which
Moving
creature,
on to
which...
Revelation.
So Revelation 11. This is
Yes.
the Revelation.
And it's the second woe
It's the second word.
of three. Amazing.
Yes.
I read the first woe the other day.
Oh.
How amazing it seems to have... I have to say, Revelation is all my life been gobbledygook. And I have to say, I read a Revelation about a week ago and it actually spoke to me.
Did it?
Yeah, and I was quite shocked. So, woo! And one of those weird things, I thought, gosh,
Yeah.
I never thought Revelation is sort of revealing something.
I mean, I think as well with
I think you're
Revelation.
on the,
I'm on the wrong day. Thank you.
We did this as a Bible study, and did we do it as the Bible study? And I've done it, I think, as well with the ladies group a while ago. And you have to, you can't try and take it all and say that actually means
Right.
that and that means that.
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
can't
yeah,
take
yeah.
it literally, can you? Because obviously, of course, it's not. It's a dream. It's a.
But the rest, I mean, exactly. But then every now and then it becomes very specific.
Yeah.
And this
It's
is
like-
very specific.
Mm.
This Revelation 11 is very specific. There are two witnesses. Now, who are these two witnesses?
Yeah.
Some people say, are they Moses and Elijah? You know, the representative of the law and the prophets. Are they the Old Testament or the New Testament? Are they representing the whole of the church?
Right.
Because you
Yeah.
know, the gospel says you've always got to have two witnesses. If something is to be proved as true, there have to be two witnesses. Or are we looking forward to two people at the end of time who will come, who will
Right.
do amazing things in the name of God, who will be crushed, trampled, killed, who will be dead for 3.5 days, the story ring anything, and then will come alive and will be exalted. And it's this sort of this constant pattern that we see. You know, that happens with Jesus, happens with the two witnesses, it happens with the saints of God. Daniel 7 talks about how for a time and time, 2 times and for half a time, 3.5 times,
Right.
the people of God, the saints, will be crushed and oppressed and then will be vindicated. So it's this sort of constant pattern that the saints, there will be some sort of reigning, then they will be crushed, completely crushed. It will look as if they are dead, and then they will be lifted up after a short while and vindicated.
And then there's some other bits where it says that there are dead bodies around the streets of the great city that is prophetically called Sodom and Egypt, where also the Lord was crucified. And I mean, you should put your head around that. Again, I know I'm not supposed to interpret this literally, but it does look like quite a literal description, wasn't he?
Of Jerusalem. He was crucified in Jerusalem.
That's not Sodom and Egypt, right?
No, but they're prophetically called Sodom and Egypt. Sodom, a place of sin. Egypt, a place of exile. And Jerusalem.
Okay, right, there we go. So that's how you have to sort of
It's just having
think a bit naturally.
Yes.
Yes, and these numbers, the 3.5 days, it's sort of 3.5 is half of 7, which is this sort of perfect number.
Which is 42 months. Also, 42 months is 3.5 years. It's
Okay.
36 plus 6 months.
Wow.
So there's a lot
And
of about these numbers.
1,260 days is, I think, 3.5 years, but I'm not sure.
1,360.
Do you have mathematicians to help us on that one?
369, yeah.
Possibly
Yeah.
3 4s and 12. What was it? 1 3 4s and 12?
1,200 and something.
Yeah, it might be right.
Yeah, roughly
So,
around
yeah.
Yeah, it's about right
There's-
actually. Yes, gosh, it's weird because when I asked that number, I mean, it's very specific for 1,260 days. It's like these numbers you feel, it's like, yeah.
Yeah. And in one sense they're real, in another sense they're symbolic figures.
Yeah.
And the point about apocryphal language is that, you know, as we know, everybody can read everything into it. You
Right.
can read
Yes.
your own current situation and say this person's the Antichrist or that person's the witness. And in one sense, that's okay, so long as the pattern follows.
Right.
It's the pattern of faithfulness, the pattern of the suffering of the people of God, the reliance on God and the turning and him, and the hope that is here. And that's the big thing. This was to Christians who were suffering, written to Christians who were suffering. So it's offering hope. It's saying to them, don't worry. You know, it'll get really bad. really, really bad. It'll look as if you're dead.
Don't worry.
But don't worry, you're not.
It's like
You're not.
this is
You're
not the last thing I think.
It's not the end.
I
It's
think
not the end.
My worry starts with the fact I don't even understand it. And what I read doesn't make me feel any better. But actually, it's an interesting point. Who is Revelation? Who wrote Revelation? Let's get back.
John. Well,
John?
I would say
Revelation
John.
to
John. It's,
Right.
it's John, the one who was the Apostle John.
Right. Okay.
I would argue that. Others would say it's somebody different, but that's
A bit of a debate.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Intriguing.
So,
And he's writing. It's a letter to the churches.
Right.
Because that's how it's.
But I always feel like you read it. It always feels like. Have you ever seen the film The Manchurian Candidate? Classic.
I have seen it, but I can't remember it.
It's one of those classics of 60s, 70s spy flicks with Frank Sinatra. It's a great movie, and there are a bunch of people who have been programmed by the Soviets and sent back to America.
oh, of course.
And they just live. I mean, the theme has come up a few other times, but this was kind of, I think, the original film they did. And then there's certain key words will be said or delivered to them, perhaps on a radio message or on the back of an envelope,
Yeah.
and it triggers something. And suddenly they snap into action. They have a
Okay.
mission to do. And when I read this, I sort of feel it's the same. It's like at some point these words, I'm sure, will trigger something, and then we understand.
These words that keep coming up
Yeah.
again and again. Yeah.
Lovely.
Right.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day, and hope to see you tomorrow.
Right. Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Great.